Some military units have a mission, and others, they have a legacy. But what happens when the two are one and the same? Well, today we're diving into a story that draws a straight line from a state-of-the-art flying command post all the way back to the dangerous skies over World War II Europe. It's a legacy of justice with victory. So take a look at this. This is the emblem of the 95th Wing. And yeah, at first glance, it's a really striking piece of military art, but it's also the modern-day symbol for a unit with one of the most critical missions in the entire U.S. military. So what do? Well, their job is to make sure the President of the United States and the Secretary of Defense always have a place to command the nation's forces, especially in the absolute worst-case scenario. We're talking about the National Airborne Operations Center, a mission where failure just isn't an option. Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting. The real story is hidden in the history of that emblem. What could possibly connect this high-tech flying command center to a group of young men flying B-17s through enemy flak almost 80 years ago? Let's find out. To get the answer, we've got to jump in the time machine and go way, way back to a unit that was literally forged in the fires of the Second World War. Say hello to the 95th Bomb Group. These are the guys whose legacy the modern 95th Wing carries on. As part of the legendary Mighty 8th Air Force, they had the absolutely harrowing mission of making daylight bombing runs deep into occupied Europe. And their journey was just a total whirlwind. They were activated just weeks after Pearl Harbor, they were in training by August, and by May of 1943, they were already flying their first combat mission. Their entire wartime service was packed into just 2 incredibly intense years. Now, this number right here is the key to understanding just how special they were. 3. That's how many distinguished unit citations the 95th earned. Let that sink in. In the entire 8th Air Force, which had hundreds of units, they were the only group to be honored that many times. And this wasn't just some pat on the back. This quote, it's from the official citation for the very first daylight bombing raid on Berlin in March 1944. On one of the most dangerous missions of the entire war, the 95th was recognized for distinguishing itself above and beyond all other units. That kind of bravery, well, that's the foundation of their entire legacy. And that legacy of courage isn't just a story in a history book. No way. It's actually encoded in the very symbols the modern unit carries with them today. Okay, check this out. You can literally see the direct lineage right here. On the left, that's the original emblem from the 95th Bomb Group. On the right, the modern 95th Wing. This isn't them paying tribute to the old emblem. They're using the old emblem. They carry the exact same shield. And the meaning behind this thing is just incredibly deep. The original designer, a private named Robert Robertson, explained it himself. The shield stands for Justin, the Roman ruler who gives us our word justice. The cross is for democracy and fairness. And that awesome red feather? That's the red badge of courage. It's their entire mission statement, right there in one picture. Another key symbol from back then is this one, the square B. You have to imagine the chaos of these huge bomber formations. Pilots needed a way to instantly see who was who. This simple marking on the tail, the square for their division, the B for the 95th Bomb Group, was a critical tool for command and control, right there in the sky. Which, brings us right back to the present day. So how does that history of courage and command under fire translate to the modern Night Watch mission? The 95th operates the E-4B Night Watch aircraft, which is the National Airborne Operations Center, or NAOC. To put it simply, if command centers on the ground are ever destroyed or compromised, this plane becomes the flying headquarters from which our national leadership can direct U.S. forces. It is, without a doubt, the nation's final, survivable line of command. And the plane itself, it is an absolute marvel of engineering. It started life as a Boeing 747, and it can be refueled in mid-air, which means it can stay up for days. But here's the crucial part. Its systems are hardened against nuclear and thermal effects, and it's shielded from an electromagnetic pulse, an EMP, the kind of thing that could fry electronics on the ground. This thing is a true flying fortress, built for the modern age. And to make sure this capability is always there, at least one E-4B is on alert 24/7, 365 days a year, with a full battle staff ready to go at a moment's notice. The watch literally never ends. And get this, that historic link? It's still there today, right in the chain of command. The 95th Wing falls under the 8th Air Force, the very same command their predecessor served under during World War II. More specifically, they're part of the 595th Command and Control Group. And this group's entire purpose is the Nuclear Command, Control, and Communications Mission, what they call NC3. Their job is to make absolutely sure the president is always and securely connected to the nation's strategic forces. So when you step back and you put all of this together, you start to see this really powerful story of a legacy that has truly endured. Look, the technology has changed a lot, from B-17s to hardened 747s. But the core principles that were baked into that original emblem, justice, courage, and the drive for victory, those are the exact same guiding stars for the men and women who carry out this vital mission today. In the end, it really all comes back to this motto: justice with victory. That wasn't just some catchy phrase for a bygone era. It's a living, breathing principle, a direct line connecting the heroism of the past with the immense responsibility of the present. And that kind of leaves us with one last big thought. The 95th Bomb Group fought to achieve justice through victory. Today, the 95th Wing stands ready to ensure the nation can be commanded to preserve that justice. In an uncertain world, what does it truly take to uphold a legacy like that?